What's up guys, and welcome back to WBC Builds, and today you may notice I'm not playing Minecraft. That's right, I'm playing SimCity 4 Deluxe Edition with the Rush Hour add-on included. Now this game may be going back nearly 20 years now, but for me this was always my go-to game for any time of the year, for anything. I was playing this game from probably aged 7 until this day. Still, I play it regularly. I love it. It's actually my favourite game, and now I'm going to show you guys exactly, why I love it, and also how good it is and how well it holds up, even in this day and age where we have City Skylines and that god-awful SimCity remake in 2013 I will never touch again. I played quite a few hours on it, on a really bad laptop, but I hated it. Do you know what? It was never this. This game, as you can see here, we are playing in the Timbuktu region, the original region that you start in. I've already got a few little places over here that I started, I don't know, maybe last year, 2 years ago. And you can just see, you can connect everything together, and that's what I really loved about this. And do you know what? That's what led me on to doing my Minecraft series all about let's build, well, the Whiteberg country, because the idea of connecting towns together came from this game here. So let's get on and start ourselves a new city and see where it takes us. So we're going to start in this one just here, up in the top corner, away from everything, and then we're going to slowly build our way down to the main river and connect in with the other towns. But for starters, I want to start us off in a nice flat area where we can get some good city planning going. Okay, let's jump in. So for me, when I was playing this game, maybe when I first started playing it actually, the loading times for stuff was so long because the computer I was playing on was my dad's, and it wasn't amazing, but at the time obviously it was quite a good PC. This was 2005 maybe, and I used to sit around for a while waiting for cities to load, and they would always crash on me. Now there's no promises this won't crash either, because it has done several times in the past, so fingers crossed it doesn't. I think it's just because of the way Windows 10 is now, and it can't really handle it, but still, if you just look at this, we've now been given an entire palette to play with. So we've got this bit of land, and you can see it's at an isometric sort of projection, but we can rotate it around. We can choose, which direction we look at it. But I'm going to look at it in this one, which was the given one. So we're now in God mode. So God mode allows us to do terraforming and changing bits and bobs to how we wish to have it. So I'm going to put a nice big forest in the middle here. For me, this game does invoke so much nostalgia for my childhood and just what got me into, well, to be honest, what got me into the job I am in today, because I was sitting around playing this game, wasting many hours on it. So you've got the natural disasters which you can create as well. So if I wanted to, right now we could do this and send a meteorite in. If you get like that, let's have it crash into this forest here, and it can now cause a crater. So with that we can then go, oh god, is that another one coming in? No, okay. So with that we can now go, right, I want to sort of adjust that a little bit. We don't want to make it too much, so yeah, I'm tempted to make this into a series, but for now I'm just going to do it as a little showcase. So if you guys want to see some more of this, leave me a comment below saying that, yeah, you would love to see, I don't know, maybe 5-6 episodes of this across a couple of weeks. But for now, let's get in to our first city. So I'm going to call this place Wolverhampton, just to keep it in keeping with the lore of everything. We'll set our name to Mr. White, obviously, because that's me. And the difficulty level, I like to go for easy because I'm always quite adventurous with my builds, so I never really end up making too much money straight away. But let's get into it. So we got all of these tables. You can see here the city opinion polls. At the moment everything's middling. We got our revisers, which are probably the best thing about this. So this guy here, he's the city planner, Neil Fairbanks. He knows what he needs to know about city planning. So if you look over here currently, roll up your sleeves, Mayor, time to move in. And the rest of these guys, we've got financial advisor Monique Diamond. I hate her because she's always angry because we're always spending money. We've got the utilities advisor Jonas Sparks. He's always quite good. We've got the public safety advisor Sam Armstrong. And then we've got health and safety, or health and education, and parks and recreations. Sorry, that's transport and then parks over here. So we're going to get on and put in our first little area. So what you can do is you can zone in residential, commercial, or industrial. So I tend to keep my industrial and my residential away from each other. So we're going to stick our first little row of low density residential in here. What we need to do now is draw a couple of roads and start connecting up this town. So that's a street. So streets are for low density sort of stuff, and then you've got roads which can be a bit more high density. So what you can do is diagonal roads, but as with Minecraft, which is why I like this game quite a bit, you only build in your cardinal angle direction. So you've got your left and your rights, and your ups and your downs. But we can, if you want to, make it a little bit more adventurous and have a few diagonals. But what I'm doing here is just sort of carving up the land, so we've got an idea of where our roads are going to go and also how we're going to have a look. So what I've done there is I've dragged out to make connections into other parts. So when we go back into the main region, we can have a look and join in our cities with that then. Right, okay, so what we need are jobs for these people to work in. So currently agriculture is looking like it's trending. We've got quite a few demand, about 2,000 for that. But we've also got some industrial low density for that as well, dirty industry as we call it in this. But we also need to get some commercial in. So what I'm going to do is choose a location that can become our sort of central hub for our commercial. You can see there a little red symbol has popped up. That little red symbol means they've got no power. So we need to go over and sort that out in a minute, but I'm going to say this here can become our high street. This is our main road between the residential areas over here and what will become the industrial areas, I think up in this corner over here, but we'll maybe start them off over here just so we can get a little bit of jobs going to it. So at the moment I've only got a small town, so I'm going to start by putting a wind farm up over here. So this is the Crater Hill, so I'm going to put a couple of wind turbines up here. So we're going to try and keep it as green as possible for now, and what I'm doing is adding the power lines over to these zones. So once zones start connecting into each other, they can actually transfer power, but because we haven't got any zones up between here, but I might do that actually, add a couple of more low density between there. It's always good to get your zones in early so you can start to plan out a city. I like to do it in piecemeal ways rather than doing the whole thing at once, because that's how a city should grow naturally. So we've got our first buildings growing up over here. This is going to be a small little commercial district, and I think what we could also do is have a look at putting down our first little park. So parks always are just nice things to have. You've got a whole selection here ranging from just a small green park like that, which we could place here and there and there. Now these don't have to be attached to any roads, and they create quite a nice little area for people to meet in and just have a bit of fun. So we've got a little play park there, and I think we'll also add maybe a medium, we'll put a medium garden in instead. Actually no, we'll put a large garden in because that fits in nicely there. So we've got this nice little central park area now, and in front of that I'm going to add a couple of high density shops, so for later on these can grow into a bit more of a better place. But you can see there I'm spending money that probably doesn't need to be spent. So Wolverhampton's looking good so far. What we need to do now is think about our industry. So I'm tempted to get some farming set up, so we're going to have this straight street all the way up through here, and it's gonna, well, you can't connect streets into towns, so what I'm going to do is come up here and connect in that road like, oh no, I didn't connect in that road, demolish that road like that because I've done it diagonal, and connect in another road over here. But yeah, so what this game enables you to do is manage cities and towns really quite in-depthly. So we've got these graphs here as well, which can be used for all sorts of understanding of what people are doing. We'll go through those in 2 seconds because I think they're quite a handy little detail after I've placed in a few hectares of farms. So we're going to leave it like that for now, connect that in like that, and we'll also connect in the power from the wind turbines. So the reason I've done this is because I don't particularly want to straight up get loads of heavy dirty industry in, because I want to see if this town grows into anything using the commercial and all of that jazz as well. But yes, we've got these graphs here, so you can see obviously we've only just started, so we've only got 1 year worth of stuff. Air pollution should be low, we haven't got any water yet, that's the next thing we need to do. Power has now jumped, traffic volume is going to start rising, water pollution and all of that, education age. But what's quite nice is we've also got these overlays. So fire hazard, currently those are the fire hazards, crime, haven't got any of that. Education, poor, desirability. Right now, that's a really undesirable zone for low density housing. Don't know why. And for for high desirable houses, so your big mansions, around this park here, we can now place a few low density buildings And I think from that we'll start to have a look at growing a few nice properties. So if we put a road that runs maybe parallel to that, and off of that we could place some low density like so they connect straight into the park like that, and maybe a couple more there. We can leave this little spot here for another green space. We can place a school there. Now what's happened is, because the level difference here is so great, when they built the school they obviously had to raise up that as well, so we've now got this huge slope, but the commercial buildings will dig into that. I didn't realise how hilly this place was. Okay, that's an interesting point. We'll have to get onto that later on. But yeah, you can see here, I was going to say, these little arrows are now pointing up, which means everyone's pretty good and pretty happy. I'm going to choose some different building styles here. I'm going to go for trying to keep the Chicago 1890 and the New York 1940 styles. So those are the older buildings, and I like the look of those a lot more than the modern contemporary ones. Everyone's quite happy at the moment, but that's not going to be... I was speaking too soon. I knew exactly what she was going to say. So we need to lower the education budget because we don't actually have that many people coming into the school. Currently we have 0. We have quite a big capacity for students, so we'll leave that around 200 there. What's next going to happen is the fire and the police department is not going to be too happy that we don't have enough resources there either. What I'm doing now is going to add in the water supply. So this is just adding in a little water tower over here, and this will require an electric connection. So we go into like that. But yeah, so this game, you can see, you can really get into quite a lot of detail and depth, even with it being in an isometric view on a grid like so. Coming back over to our farms, you can see here we've got some really nice looking farms and some really busy roads. So I'm not sure what we need to do about that. Maybe if we upgrade that to a road, and also that to a road as well. So instead of it being a street all the way out here, because streets aren't great, we can now have that as a road. So what I'm just thinking actually is, because this is still showing we need some dirty industry. So if we go for a medium density industrial zone, and we'll have it so it's not actually connected directly to the road like that, but you can come into it. It's like an industrial park. So we've got little inner roads like that and like that, so that connects into there. So you've got traffic that will come through this one road here, but maybe we can also have it connecting up a bit further, and we'll do a bit more in there later on. So we need to get some power down to it, and this will be a source of good work, so people come in out of town as well to it, and it's on the main road so it can get good export in and out. There's other ways of transporting people around, and I was just about to start off a bus route, because you can see here the roads are starting to get quite busy. If we put on the traffic, okay, it's pretty low, but the volumes speak, wonders. We can see what people are doing. They're definitely driving up that way to work, and we've got freight trucks coming down, and going straight out there, so it's not coming into the city as such. So what we can do for helping people move around, because it's got the mass transit and the rush hour section built into this game, we can actually put in bus stops. So I'm going to put a little bus stop there, and stick another one here on the main road. I'll also put another one over here by the park, so people can now circulate around there. But what I'm also going to do is make sure they can get to their places of work if they work down here in the industry, and we can now place one down here by that intersection there. Later on I'll probably add a railway to it, but we just need to check our finances. We're currently making $100 and we're expending another $600 a month, so it's not doing too badly but not doing too great either. So yeah, the whole game is pretty much governed by these RCI charts, so the residential, commercial and industrial indexes. So right now we're looking at quite low skilled, low paid jobs, residential for these low paid jobs here. So we're going to stick in another housing estate just over here so it can branch. Actually no, we want to probably extend that road down like that and branch this off of here. So we've got this weird junction in here, so what we can eventually do is upgrade a lot of that. What I'm going to do here is stick a little green belt down the middle here, because we've got this strange looking road, and I've also made it so it's one way, so we've got a loop round like that. I didn't actually realise I put a wrong one-way road down there, but it will work for now. So I've just put a little bit of green belt through the middle there, a little green park, maybe put another one there as well. And this is just an idea so you don't have traffic circulating in places you don't particularly want it to circulate. You can see there we've got loads of traffic on this road, and that's a shame because, you know, this is where a bus stop is. So I'm actually going to redesign that bit of road because it's our main intersection. So if I just demolish that there, and I'm going to use the avenue. So the avenue is a different type of road. It's got several lanes, so I'm going to have it coming down like that, and it will now do a sweeping curve like that. So for me, I just love this game so much. There is so much to do in it, and like I'm saying, in this day and age, this game really is worth playing. So if you find it on Steam in a sale or anything like that, give it a go. Definitely give it a go. But yeah, so what you also get is these gifts. So every so often you get a little requirement met, and when you end up with a nice gift to fulfill your town with something. So the mayor's house there, it's a monthly cost of 30, but it costs 1800 a place. Well-to-do Sims will want to live close by to this illustrious mansion for the mayor. So the mayor's house is not available until we reach a city size of 500 and a mayor's rating of 20. So our mayor rating currently is fairly high, I think, but we've got a few little drops over here, and that's mainly due to money. So we're spending quite a bit, but we're not actually making anything. And that's mainly down to the fact our jobs are fairly low at the second because, oh, I thought I may have knocked the power out before we actually got it down there. I thought we put that one in. I thought it was growing up over here. I don't know. So this avenue here, you can see, is now just lying out in the middle of nowhere. So because it's now become our main road, we're going to have it sweeping down, curves off like that, and then connects in like so. Can we do it like that? I'll just have it connect in like that. So it's now this main bypass route. And what we can do is this is going to annoy people, but you can also put a toll road on this original bit, which means that people will have to sort of travel on the new road in order to make it worth their while. It's just one way of getting traffic off of this small little pedestrian road. Not pedestrian, but yeah, intercity road. So you got this little junction here, which is going to become a nightmare, I can imagine. So again, you can maybe put that into a bit of an avenue. I don't really know, but yeah. So just play around with it. It's one of these games that really do offer you a lot to do. So we've even got highways and motorways and that we can eventually get onto, and we've got other things. But now this is what happens. Things pop up like this. Just gonna quickly save the game again so we don't lose anything, but you get little bits and bobs that pop up like that. So we go see what he wants. He's saying here that this street is becoming a nightmare. So this is the street that connects off into the main road there. So what we need to do with this is possibly turn it into a road. And I don't know if that will alleviate all of our issues because this is the main drag throughout the whole thing. So what we're going to have to do is probably turn that into a road as well. And we see here we have more and more responses for people living here. So I might even put in a bit of medium density housing along this road if we connect it off like that. And we'll also put a little bit over here so they can live behind the shops. And maybe, well, what it's also suggesting was a bit more agriculture as well. So we may go over here and put in a bit more agriculture. So the thing with agriculture is you end up causing quite a bit of water table pollution eventually throughout the game if you sort of irrigate it. Now we don't particularly want to irrigate it just yet because that may cause issues that we have to pay for. Yeah, so our little town of Wolverhampton's turning into something that's quite nice. I really like it. Really like it a second. Should we have a look at this road over here? So what was a nice feature as well, so you can drive vehicles in this game. There's a bit where you end up having to have military bases if you run out of money, and they give it to you as like a little tax break. What happens with that is you can drive tanks and all sorts. So what's a neat little tool is you can click on, you got the question mark here to view something, but then you also have the route query. So we can now see what travels through here. So 15 workers choose to use that route, while none are using the avenue, apart from that one which is using the bus. The buses are using the avenue. So if we look up here, we've got some more buildings coming in. You can see here 108 vehicles use that. And how many buses is that? 13 people travel by bus, 16 people are by car here. And this gives you an idea of where your Sims are going. And what was quite a nice feature was this thing down here. I just remembered that it's Sims, yeah. My sim mode is you can actually place a person of your creation into the town. So we're going to choose this guy up in the corner, Lars Overdale, move my sim in, so he can now come and live over here by the park. So if we click on him, there we go, we can now watch him move in. Now this is also made even better because at the same time the original Sims came out, and you can make families and integrate it with this if it's on the same C drive, and they could read it, and you could actually place the Sims that you were playing with in Sims into this game to come live in your newly constructed cities. I know, it's amazing. And these guys will give you a little bit of updates on what's going on, whether there's too much crime in the area, whether there's, you know, little bits and bobs they don't like. And it's really nice to have a few of these placed around. And this is a feature they never implemented in the other later versions of Sims. They had the little missions that popped up from people's houses, but to actually place a person into the town to, you know, you can do stuff with, you can even take them for a walk if you want. It's just a really nice little feature. Oh, here we go, this is what I was waiting for. So the mayor can now put up a chair and place himself in the town. So we're going to sit here overlooking that part of the park. So we've carved ourselves out a little bit of this hill, but now everyone wants to live by the mayor's house. So I'm going to put in a few plots like that. So these will now become new houses, a bit more respectable. You can look down here, look at the desirability meter, and look at that. For the high wealth desirability, they want to live next to the mayor's house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a few more of these little nice to haves in and around town, and then we'll sort of jump back and I'll let you have a look and see where we get to. Oh no, that's become quite ugly there. I'm going to have to remove that zone. I don't like how it's sitting there next to the mayor's house. But yeah, so eventually you grow your city up, you grow your town up, and it becomes this bustling metropolis. Like I said earlier on, if you guys want to see me do this, then, you know, please let me know, because I would happily sit here and play this game for you all, even on a stream or something. But definitely a few episodes on the channel. And oh, look at that, we've been given a church. So you get given, like I said, gifts from all over. I didn't really go through exactly what we get given, but we get given things like churches and graveyards and all things glamour. So you can given statues of yourself as a mayor and all of that eventually as well. So the town of Wolverhampton now has a population of about 1,500. Again, we aren't making any money really. So what I'm going to do is stick a bit more public transport in, just because I want to, just to showcase it. And we're going to stick a train station in. So the train station is going to sit up. Should we stick it up here? Seems quite hilly up there. So let's stick it. What I'm trying to think is I want it to travel through the town. So if we put it down here, it can be close enough to the town that people can use, and then we can also. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Wasted a bit of money there. But we can also get it across the road like that, which is fine. So it can bend in all sorts of directions, I say, as I'm trying to bend it in all sorts of directions. And we can loop it around the back here, so it's not too much of a hassle. Or we can actually extend it a bit further down this way, so we can future-proof this bit a little bit more. And that's now going to go all the way out to the edge of town, all the way out to the edge of town if we can. Yep, so that's now an outside connection there. And we're also going to connect it in with our industry over here and put a freight line on it and also transport it out that way. Oh no, so what's happened here is a fire's broken out. So you actually get to be in charge of dispatching the fire squads. So if we go and click on, I don't know if we can actually zoom into them, but they are now arriving from the other part of town. You can hear the sirens going. There we are, and they're going to come in and hopefully stick the fire out. So while we're doing that, you can't like fast forward the game at this point, which is not annoying as such, but it does have its implications. And so now we can also set up a little bit of a transit point here. So when people come into work, they can now get the bus from the train station round toward this area. It's just a way of trying to manage people's usage of cars. I know, to be honest, it's a great way of learning how to be socially responsible with your vehicles. Because obviously in this day and age, everything's governed by whether we can use our cars or not. But the idea is that here you don't want to. You want to be able to get a bus or take the trained places, which is exactly what we need to be doing more and more in the modern world. I know I'm just rambling about that, but to be honest, that is how I view things. I view things as we really, really need to be moving away from cars and moving back towards mass transit, because it's just so much better for the environment and better for ourselves. Anyway, that's my little preach there. With this, we're going to pretty up this area a little bit. I'm going to stick down a few high density commercial properties directly opposite the railway station, but we've got these garages which are costing us a fair bit in maintenance, but what it can do is it can now allow people to drive from their houses up here down to here, park up and get the train all the way to work, which is actually what they're doing. Wow, never before have I actually managed to make them do that properly. So what's quite nice with that is, like I said before, we'll put a toll on this road here. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Put a toll on that road there, and we can now connect that one in like that. So people travelling to and from here will have to pay a toll to go to work, and it's now a brand new road like so. So we've got a bit more connection in like that. Perfect. So this is growing up nicely. So what we're looking at here, people want to move in at low density still, low cost. So what would be quite nice is if we could actually add a commuter railway over here, so you've got a nice little connection in as well. It's only recently have we actually stopped having train stations, and that's just led to cars and that going back onto the roads. So this will probably need to be a road here, and same with that there. And we'll see how that does, but we are giving our people a lot of transport opportunities. So we come back over to this middle bit. I've got a couple of plots there that need to be removed. Just going to do that. Just going to do a little bit more tidying up as well, and then we'll sort of see how the city's looking towards the end of the video. Okay, and we're back. So I've just had to place in a brand new power station. So this is a gas-powered natural gas plant. Got to lower its maintenance cost a little bit because we aren't needing too much power. But if you look at the tables here, the power consumption was getting quite high, but now our capacity is also a lot higher. So I'm just going to lower that down a little bit more. But that's because I've been growing this heavy industry a little bit more. And I've also put in a bit more agriculture and a train station up here as well, which is getting 18 people travelling up to it. Very nice. So this is now getting 68 passengers. People are going there and people are going there. We've also got a freight station there, which is travelling up that way. And I think we're getting freight trains out that way as well. Perfect. And passengers between the two is also working. So this whole town is now growing up to be quite a nice little place to live. So our next sort of steps would be to develop this area in front of the train station, which can be maybe a nicer part of town, but we'll see what it grows up to be. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. I've enjoyed showcasing this game. As I said before, I'm very, very happy to carry on playing this as a series on this channel, so please let me know in the comments below if you want to see this. I love it, so I actually might just do it. You know what, I might just do it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been SimCity 4, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.